Welcome in, family. Shay to TikTok. Welcome in. And welcome into my YouTube family as well. So I'm feeling like today we're going to do two things if I have enough time. But I really thought that the topic of this video was a very important discussion to have, which is that of sonic warfare and gang stalking. Okay, I talked a little bit about this on my Hey TikTok family. I see a few people in here. I talked about this recently in a video on TikTok, and I thought that I should also talk about this live on both YouTube and TikTok. So currently we are streaming on both platforms. So we'll talk about that first, and maybe we can do a little Q&A for the people who are struggling with being or feeling like you are a targeted individual, which all of us are, and feeling like you are always under attack or targeted in society. Okay, by way of vibrational warfare. Okay, so I know on YouTube I'm streaming on like two different types of views. That's not really my doing. That has a lot to do with the streaming platform that I use. It's some type of new feature and I don't know how to take it off. So just click whichever video looks best to you. Okay. So I know it has like a phone feature and then like a maybe like a bigger screen going on over there. It's all right. Okay. Let me get my banner going across YouTube here. And we're going to get started. Yeah, they moved a lot of things around and I don't like it at all. I like to keep things simple. Don't go switching up stuff. I don't like that. Hey, Miss Black. Oh, yeah, on TikTok, you guys, I'm looking for 2 mods. Thank you. Well, at least 2 to 5 mods for TikTok. Okay, somebody that's active in my lives usually. I see the gifts too. Someone that's usually active. Okay, so I just want to make that known. I probably need to make a post because I don't know if anybody's even in this live. Okay, but I need some mods on TikTok. All right. Good. Beautiful day, beautiful long time no see. Yes, let me put that comment on the screen because I can't even see that. Who is this? Miss Shine. Hey, how you doing? Hey, beautiful. What's this? Isis. Hey, Isis on YouTube. Okay. Now, I hope you guys are having a beautiful day. We're going to try to keep this under 2 hours. We're going to see. Okay. However the spirit leads us. Okay. But let's go ahead and get started. And I don't know. That's what I was going to say. It's going to kind of be like a 2-part live. I may do a reading after, like a collective energy read after, but I do want to cover this topic first. Okay. So that is for TikTok because I didn't put it in the title on TikTok, but that is gang stalking. I probably should have put like a label up here somewhere. I don't even know how to do that, y'all. I'll just be going live. I have to figure out how to put a title on TikTok so y'all know what the discussion is. But I really don't want to put the title, gang stalking title on YouTube because they flag a lot of my content when I do speak about gang stalking. So obviously it's information that they don't want the public to know or have access to. And then I have to appeal the video like 2 and 3 times just to have them keep the video up. Okay. So that's another reason why I don't talk about it a lot on my page. But I figured if I go live about it, then maybe I'll be able to get through and delve deeper into this topic. Okay. So let's first start off with the meaning of sonic warfare. Okay. The root meaning of sonic itself means relating to sound. Okay. Sonar is sound navigation. Okay. Resonance, to resound or echo. Okay. And then we have sonata. Okay. YouTube, I love to show y'all my screen. I probably should just share with y'all my screen. Or are y'all just listening? What y'all want to do on YouTube? Y'all want to see the screen or y'all want to just listen? Okay. Clementine, great rising. He says, hello, Queen. Yes, every time you touch this topic, I get a meeting on my calendar. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. You know what? And we don't believe in coincidences. You say you do want to see the words on the screen? Okay. Hold on a second. I have to log in on my other computer here. Hi. Nothing is a coincidence though. And that's basically what we about to get into. You know, I think that the term gang stalking has really become like commercialized, I guess. But, you know, we just gonna get into it. Just give me a second. Hold on. Child, I don't know what that screen just did, but yeah. I have to get in, log in. So hold on. So I can share from this screen. Hopefully it works right. Okay, if it works right. I'm looking for 2 to 5 miles on TikTok, y'all, for the ones that are here often with me. Just to let y'all know. Okay. How can I? Okay. Says share screen. Hold on a second, y'all. Hold on, we finna get to it. Hold on. So I have to copy and paste it onto a document here. But this is very important, okay? This is at the nucleus of being a self-aware individual, okay? This is a very, very important topic. And I don't want people to feel like you have to live in fear because you feel like you are a targeted individual. Anytime you're seeking knowledge and higher consciousness, you automatically are a targeted individual. We all are targeted individuals. From the day that you're born, you're a targeted individual because they don't want the masses to wake up. They benefit off you being a sleeper, a walking dead person. That's what they benefit off of. So if this what I call like a shadow government that's at hand, you know, operating in the shadows, if they can keep your vibrations low, then they can keep you from obtaining more awareness, higher consciousness, you know, connecting with your higher self. Okay, that's what it's really about. They don't want you to be able to take heed and resist against these attacks. So when we speak about being at war, this is what we're talking about. This is what I'm talking about. We have been in an active war zone from the day you was born on your aura, on your electromagnetic field. Okay, we all have one. This is why they inflict trauma. This is why they inflict abuse. Okay, to fragment your aura and to fragment your, you know, your essence. That is the war. The war is on your essence. How diabolical is that, right? Very diabolical. How dare you be at war with somebody's essence and who they are at the core? Because they're fighting against who we truly are, right? These soulless beings, right? And the reason why they're able to be used as agents is because they are traumatized as well. They are fragmented as well. So if you're picking up what I'm putting down, you basically have the basis here. But right now I'm trying to, hold on, let me get my documents together. Hold on. Say exactly. I can't. What? Oh, come here talking about nothing crazy, child. Child. Documents. Hold on, y'all. Okay. Trying to get a fresh document to copy and paste on this document here. So I could just have it everything I need on one screen. And then I can share my screen on YouTube too. So hold on. I hate how this look. Why do this look like this? I don't like that. Not notepad. Does this computer not have documents? Word document. I could go to it on my other computer that I'm using, but I don't want to use that one. Word document. I might not be able to share my screen today, y'all, because well, I probably can. Yes, I can. Hold on. Okay. Trying to keep the right angle here. All right. Now, hold on. Can y'all see that there? Can y'all see that clearly on YouTube? If y'all want to see the words on the screen, just go to YouTube, okay? For my TikTok family. Can y'all see that clearly, or is it blurry? I can't really see it at a distance. Okay, so I was started off breaking down the meaning of sonic warfare. Okay, the meaning of sonic. Okay, you say you can't see it. Okay, so it's relating to sound. Okay, so when we say sonic, we're literally talking about the movement of sound, the vibration, the force of vibration here, and the impact of frequency, right? Because we in a frequency war, always have been. Okay, so the counter intelligence, and the military warfare, psychological warfare, spiritual warfare, it's about frequency. Okay, so it reaches a point, if you raise your frequency, then you are no longer resonating on that same frequency of this shadow government. Okay, it does not have access to raise its frequency. Okay, if that makes sense. So if you are healing, you reclaiming your power, your sovereignty, then what happens is you evolve, you elevate, you switch timelines, or you elevate from that lower frequency to a higher frequency. Okay, so it's a force of a vibration, and the way sound shapes, and the way sound shapes matter in consciousness. Okay, so this is why sonic warfare is not just noise, it's a sound weapon. Frequency as a tool, vibration used to influence the mind, body, and energy field. Okay. Now let's go back up here where I pretty much had what I wanted to say summed up into this paragraph here that y'all see on the screen on YouTube. Okay, so I'm gonna just start off reading at the top, and it basically says that sound is one of the oldest forms of spiritual technology, and most people don't realize how deeply it shapes their emotional state, their intuition, and even their sense of reality. When we speak about sonic warfare, aka gang stalking warfare, okay, we're not just talking about loud noises or annoying sounds. And what I noticed that too on my journey, as soon as I might get ready to speak truth, like I could be outside, sitting outside meditating, not a lot of traffic, not a lot of people walking past, not a lot going on. The moment I try to, get on my phone and hit the record button, all of a sudden a loud ass car might ride past, while I'm in the midst of trying to articulate my message. So it happens in subtle ways like that, but it's not coincidental, okay? Because it's timed in a way. Okay, so they don't want you. So that's a warfare tactic, right? If you know you're about to speak about something that is going to potentially help somebody else, awaken somebody else, or at least get other people to thinking differently, then that they can use sound warfare to disrupt your nervous system, to throw you off energetically, and your nervous, put you in fight or flight mode, things like that. Okay, so again, when we're speaking about sonic warfare, we're not just talking about loud noises and annoying sounds, but it can be just that. But it's a lot deeper too. So we're talking about intentional manipulation of vibration to disrupt a person's nervous system, to throw off their spiritual alignment, and to interfere with the natural communication between your body and your higher self. Okay? Sonic warfare targets your vibration because your vibration determines your perception. Okay, your perception determines your power. See that? So they know exactly what they're doing. It's not coincidental. Okay, there are no coincidences. When someone can destabilize your vibration, even subtly, they can influence how you feel, how you think, and how you show up in the world. Okay, so they want to attack your confidence. It's by design, by strategy, right? So if they can get you in fight or flight or freeze or fawn, then you're not in your power, which means you won't have the confidence you need to show up and be exactly who you are, unapologetically and unfazed. Okay, fear is not your natural way of being. Okay, we are soulful beings that are rooted in unconditional love. Okay, so if you moving in love and you choose love over fear, then that means you're not worrying about an outside influence, because you're mostly concerned about raising your frequency and being the best version of yourself, healing yourself, integrating those shadows, because this shadow government that operates in the unseen realm, lurking and seeking whom it may devour, okay, is looking for those who have not integrated their shadows and how they can attack you, and what ways they can affect you in ways that you may perceive as you being as it being a coincidence. You get what I'm saying? You might not pick up on the fact that, hey, actually this seems a little bit too coincidental. You get what I'm saying? So, question everything. That's the key. You must question everything. Okay? Don't trust all your thoughts that come to your mind either. Okay? Because we are telepathic beings as well. So if we understand that concept of telepathy, then that means thoughts can cross your mind that are not necessarily yours to affect your vibration as well. Okay, and you can try to lower your frequency as well. If you're having thoughts of negative thoughts about yourself, then chances are those are not your true thoughts. Okay, unless it was programmed in you to think less of yourself by way of your environment. Okay. So it's very important that we are actively and consciously overriding those false and limited beliefs and thoughts. Okay. Very important here. So sonic warfare targets your vibration because your vibration determines your perception, and your perception determines your power. Okay. So when someone can destabilize your vibration even subtly, they can influence how you feel, how you think, and how you show up. The ultimate goal is to control you, collective. The ultimate goal is to get you to comply and submit. Okay? They want to control where your energy go and where it flows versus you co-creating with the universe and creating your reality as you should, because it's your birthright, right? But we're dealing with a corrupt system that wants to control the masses and wants to use your energy to keep the illusions and false perceptions in control here. Okay, so this is why certain people, especially women who are spiritually gifted or awakening, may notice patterns of noise that feel strategic. Okay, almost like they're time to disturb. Okay, so time to disturb. Now you don't have to necessarily be a feminine, but take it how it resonates. Okay, they're time to disturb the exact moment they're fighting peace and clarity. Okay, so soon as you feel like you might be vibrating high, you walking on sunshine, your frequency is way up, you feel totally grounded, connected to your higher self, then wham bam, thank you ma'am, something come in like a flood, just throw your energy all off, and it's like, damn, what happened? It's almost like you can't be too happy, because soon as you too happy and vibrating high and fully in your peace, all hell breaks loose. It's not a coincidence. Okay, in those moments you still have to choose peace. You still have to choose to vibrate high, to observe your environment, to observe what you're experiencing, and not attach to that experience if it don't serve your highest good. Okay, so that's what's important, even when you feel like you're being attacked. Okay, and they will use people who are fully in their ego, unhealed and unhinged, to attack you. Okay, that's actual facts. All right, now you'll sit down to meditate, right? And suddenly there's a banging, a stomping, a car alarm going off, pacing above your head. Somebody might slam a door. All of a sudden, it's like a certain burst or yelling that comes out of nowhere. Not a coincidence. Sometimes we could take it as, like for me with sirens, it might not mean what the Matrix wanted to mean. It means more. It means more of like, I need to pay close attention. You know what I'm saying? So even with the Matrix tactics, trying to use these tactics to throw you off of your square, you can still use them as, signs, or, I need to pay more close attention here. Be more alert, be more aware. Okay, that's how I do it. I just kind of flip the switch, flip the narrative. Okay. So where I leave off at. So say you're calm, you're centered, you're aligned, and then there's a noise that comes like a frequency interruption. Okay, it's not random. Your subconscious mind registers certain sounds as a possible threat. Okay. Hold on, I lost my line. Hold on. That's why. Okay, as a possible threat signal. So your body will immediately shift into survival mode if logically nothing dangerous is happening. Okay, so the energy around you might stay the same, but the energy inside you begins to spiral. But that's only if you become that fear. You know what I mean? Like, this is what I'm saying. Observe what's happening versus identifying with that experience. Yes, you will feel the frequency interruption. Your nervous system will respond to that. That's a frequency threat. Okay, because like I just said, your subconscious mind may register it before your physical body does, Okay, thank you for the gift. I see you. So basically, observe your body. Observe how your body responds to certain sounds, environments, certain people. Okay, this is how you practice reading or decoding the frequency in real time. Okay, the energy around you might not stay the same, but the energy inside you begins to spiral. Okay, you like what I'm saying? Okay, somebody picking up what I'm putting down. I say this is why it feels like a wave of irritation, fear, or restlessness just took over your body without warning. Okay, so they want, when I say they, again, I'm referring to this shadow government. Okay, this shadow government that wants to have control over your frequency, over your mind, and over your essence, ultimately to control you. That is what I'm talking about. A lot of our ancient ancestors called them archons. Some refer to them as Yaldabaoth. Some refer to it as, just soulless beings. It's narcissists, karmics, whatever you want to call it, okay? That's what I'm talking about when I say they. And and people can be controlled by this shadow government because they have unhealed trauma, fragmented auras, okay? This is why this is important for us to discuss and talk about, okay? Let's see what you say. I got to put it on the screens. I cannot see it. You say, I love this energy. I will have to watch the replay. Okay, make sure you do. Make sure you do. Okay. Now, all of a sudden, you may feel a wave of irritation, fear, restlessness just took over your body without warning. Okay. Not a coincidence, right? Because there are no coincidences. Question yourself. Question your behaviors. If you're irritated, ask yourself, why am I irritated? Why am I in fear? Who told me that I needed to fear public speaking? Who told me that, I shouldn't have confidence, or whatever it may be, right? Apply it to your experience. Question every single behavior from the day you were born. Question your perspective. Yes. Question all of that. Okay, especially if you grew up in religion. Okay? Now, because of all of these corrupt systems are wanting to have dominance and control over you. That's what it's all about. True spirituality is about liberation and freedom, of you being exactly who you are, taking up the space that you need to be exactly who you are, without feeling the need to suppress or oppress any aspect of your multidimensional self. You are far beyond this body. Okay, you listen to me, you follow me, which I don't really say we follow each other. We keep up with each other. We exchange energy and we converse. Okay, so if you're a person that resonates with me, then I'm all about demolishing slavery on every aspect. Okay, it's your birthright to be free. I encourage everybody to question everything, even me. Don't take my word for it. Go do your own research. I'm not here to convince you or enslave you in any way. Okay? But we have this whole system, okay, is built on controlling the thought. It's built on controlling your perception. And it definitely wants to change your perception of self because it wants you to hate yourself. It wants you to constantly be in submission and questioning yourself and not trusting your intuition. Okay? All right. So sonic warfare is used in gang stalking. They go hand in hand. Okay? But not always in the way that people may think. Okay? It doesn't need to be a government weapon or a Hollywood level setup, right? That I say it all the time. It's not about them waging war and with the big guns. No. This is more sadistic, more malevolent. Okay? Way worse. It ain't out loud and ain't right in front of you. It's in the shadows and the unseen, right? Spiritual warfare. Sometimes the warfare is psychological and vibrational. I ain't gonna say sometimes, it's all the time. All the time you are being attacked. This is why I need y'all to understand. Don't take it lightly. It's not a joke and I'm not playing. All the time you are being attacked. Even if it don't feel like it, okay? Now, it's people who sense your power. There are people who sense your power. Your silence will irritate their ass. You just being to yourself, be silent, it will ignite something inside of them to want to attack you. I've seen it. I witnessed it in my own reality. Okay, this is facts. They will literally come up with any way they can to enter into your auric field. Okay, to disrupt your frequency. Hey, alchemist. Yes. Okay, so silence is a weapon against this psychological warfare and sonic warfare, GangStalking warfare that we are experiencing. Yes, it is. But do know that there are some overt narcissists who can't control themselves and will try to use some type of strategy to get close to you. Okay? To do anything. I'm telling you. For example, I love to give real life examples, okay? Now, I was sitting on my porch minding my business, okay? I was sitting in my yard minding my business. All of a sudden, there's a police officer at my door. Why is a police officer at my door? I'm not talking to nobody. I'm minding my business, right? A neighbor called the police on me, claiming that I was harassing her. Well, how? I got a camera right here on my front porch watching me and you. So how was I harassing you, ma'am? Right? But it was because when they can't control you, when they can't get a rise out of you, they will want to attack you because ultimately they fear your power. Why? Because your silence is a power. So I have to explain to the police officer, right? Because now this is warfare. This is active psychological warfare going on, right? So I have to explain to the police officer, hey, I ain't been messing with that lady. I ain't said nothing to that lady. I'm minding my business. Oh, yeah, we believe you, blah, blah, blah. I said, you want me to run my cameras back? No, because they already be knowing, right? They already be knowing. Law enforcement can be weaponized. Matter of fact, I think law enforcement is a big cover up for this mass goddamn shadow government. Really? So they really be knowing because again, it's frequency. Okay, so she was on the same frequency of the police officers that they sent. It was an operation going on. Do y'all understand? So this is what I mean. You don't necessarily have to be leave your house. They'll try to come to you. They'll figure out a way to come and bother you to disrupt your frequency. Why? Because your electromagnetic field can be read. Okay? They can see your aura. They can see your energy. Look it up. Don't take my word for it. How do you think military warfare is able to do what military warfare does? Go read up on how the military is able to use psychological warfare on their target. Okay? It's happening in the unseen. Okay? But there's always a science behind it. Okay? There's always a science behind it. You say, I needed to hear this today. Ashe. All right, so let's continue. Where did I leave off at? I said it's people who sense your power. They sense your transition. So they sense you evolving. They sense your vibration picking up speed because now you're vibrating high, right? You're really at a high frequency. Okay, they sense you're awakening, you're aware, your third eye wide open, you seeing beyond the veil, you're seeing things clearly, you're trusting your intuition, you're grounded, right? Your aura is not fragmented no more. They see that, they sense it, okay? Now, and they unconsciously or consciously, all right? Because people who are unhealed and operating from their egos, they can be hijacked by this shadow government and used as agents that a lot of people call Agent Smiths, but we're going to call them matrix agents to attack you, to get you off of your high frequency and to lower you back down. Okay, that is the intent. Now, whether that's unconsciously or consciously, it don't matter. It's still warfare. Okay, it don't matter. Some of them are aware, some of them are not. Most of them probably are not. Okay, nonetheless, you still being attacked. Okay, so unconsciously or consciously try to knock you off your alignment. Okay, so their spirit is threatened by your spirit. Their ego is threatened by your rising intuition. So the noise becomes a way to shake you. You know, the attacks become a way to shake you up, to get you in fight or flight, to have you operating back in fear, or to tether you back to your old self, your old timeline, your false self, because that's what it really is, your false self. Okay? To interrupt your grounding, to disconnect you from the deeper parts of yourself. When you notice this happening, it's not your imagination. You are not crazy, collective. It's actively happening, and you are aware that it's happening. They don't want you to be aware that it's happening. Grand Rising, Tasha, I see you. Okay? They don't want you to be aware of what you are experiencing. Okay? So then you'll find yourself going to people. You might be looking for answers because I'm experiencing something that I feel like nobody else is experiencing. Now I feel like I'm the only targeted individual and everybody is against me. And then what you will find is that you will be gaslit. Them same people or somebody, Grand Rising, somebody you go to talk to about it, they will gaslight you and make you feel like you crazy. I'm here to tell you that you're not. You're not crazy. You are experiencing exactly what you're experiencing. Okay? Now, when you notice this happening, it's not your imagination. It's your intuition picking up on the energetic interference, because we are spiritual beings. We are energy. Okay? We are energy. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. All of this stuff here is merely an illusion. Okay? Merely. I meant to tell y'all too. I said it earlier in the live TikTok. I'm looking for like 2 to 5 mods. You know, Alchemist, I'm thinking maybe you could be a good one. You hear a lot. Okay. Okay. So in relationships, especially with narcissistic or emotionally chaotic individuals, noise becomes a form of control. Okay. Slamming doors, raising their voice at you, or just being loud. I hate a loud motherfucker. That's just my intrusive thought right there. But just loud. And if I'm loud, y'all, to y'all right now, that's because I'm very passionate about what I'm saying. I don't mean to yell. I'm not angry. I'm just very passionate. Okay. And I want to get you this message. Okay. So they'll slam doors. They'll raise their voice. They'll stomp around the house, you know, with the intent to shift the energy, or you know, these are attempts to create instability in your emotional body. Okay? Because remember, we are multidimensional beings. We have 7 spiritual bodies, right? Go look that up. So do know that they are waging war on every last one of your spiritual bodies actively and daily. Okay? Now, it keeps you in a reactive mode. Okay? It keeps you on edge. So that's basically what gang stalking is. Okay? When they want to create instability in your emotional body. Because if they can control your emotions, then they can control you. Simply put. So this is why silence is golden and observing is golden. Because you don't want anybody else controlling you. I am against all forms of slavery, all forms of control. Okay? I don't want nobody controlling me, and I'm here to encourage you to stand 10 toes down about you and don't let nobody control you. This shadow government got to go. Okay? Now, it keeps you reactive. It keeps you on edge. And then what they say, they limited my outreach on my live. I just got a notification. Now, I'm not telling anybody anything wrong, am I? No. I'm here to liberate you. I'm here to give you the information that's going to get you to think. And that's what they don't want, right? They don't want you to think. They don't want you to think critically about anything. They want you to follow blindly. Okay? So anyway, let's just keep it moving, right? You say, I know, right? I'm stubborn. And look, yeah, I guess it is about being stubborn, but not really. We shouldn't even have to feel like we're stubborn, right? We should be free to be who we are. And people should not have the desire to want to control and have power over the next motherfucker. What do you want to control somebody else for? That's weak. You intimidated by somebody's essence, so you want to control them? You're weak. Instead of you being inspired, you get envious and jealous and want to control them. You're weak. It is what it is. Shit. You don't like a person, yet you follow and keep up with everything they do, and you want to be close to them. You're delusional. Okay? That's delusional shit. Now, let me stay focused, right? It prevents you from dropping into the divine feminine energy. Okay, so if you on edge, you're reactive, you know, if your emotional body is unstable, then your ability to critically think is unstable too. Okay, so it prevents you from dropping into the divine feminine energy where your sight or your insight, your clarity, and your power is live and active. Okay, so the feminine feels sound more deeply than the masculine because their intuition moves through vibration first. Okay, not to say that, because men have masculine and feminine energy, and we have masculine and feminine energy as well, but women feel deeper than men. Okay, that's basically what that's saying. So her womb, okay, her heart, and her aura, okay, all of it responds to sound immediately. Okay, naturally it should be responding to sound immediately. Okay, the feminine sounds more deeply than masculine. Her intuition moves through vibration first. Okay, where else did I leave off? This is why certain sounds feel like attack when they're small. Okay, they hit the spiritual body first. And that's true. I don't know, like anybody else here very sensitive to sound and vibration? Like I can feel disrespect in a person's tone. They don't necessarily have to use disrespectful words, but your tone ain't right, I feel disrespected. If your energy ain't right when you approaching me, I feel disrespected. Like anybody else very, very sensitive to vibration and energy in that way? Like I can even feel it over the phone. I can feel it in a text. They don't even have to use cussing words or anything like that. But the way that the words may be arranged, I can feel the disrespect or the dismissiveness or something like that. Okay, y'all saying yes. Okay, good. So that's basically what I mean when I say that. Okay, it's very subtle, very small. But that's because it hits our spiritual body first, and we are energetic beings, right? So we feel the energy. Yes. Okay, so there's also an occult side to this, to all of this, which is basically like an esoteric layered meaning to all of this. Okay. Sound has always been used in spiritual rites and initiations, right? So in ancient tradition, sound was used to open consciousness activate dormant parts of the mind, and shift people into higher states of awareness. Okay, so the dark occultists, excuse me, y'all, dark occultists are fully aware of how sound is used, how it should naturally be used. Okay, so they weaponize sound. Okay, they weaponize bypassing the critical thought and reaching our subconscious mind before we have the ability, in most cases, to question what's being placed in our subconscious mind. Okay, but the shadow side of initiation is used to break people down. The sound is used to break you down, to humiliate you, to strip you of your individuality, or to imprint certain beliefs into your subconscious. Chanting, rhythm, repeated patterns, loud group noise, sound creates identity. Okay, it binds people to a collective frequency. Okay, it's not always malicious, but when we speak about the shadow government, it is. Okay, it is, but it's very powerful. Okay, so you see how it turned inverted. They took sacred sound, sacred wisdom, and inverted that knowledge. Okay, this is why sacred knowledge should not be, this is why they protected sacred knowledge, so that it wouldn't get into the hands of an ego-driven, sadistic mofo. Okay, somebody who don't know how to stay in alignment with divine law and order with this type of information and wisdom. Okay, but it's gotten into the wrong person's hands, and they inverted all of that information and used it for power and control. Okay, because that is the direct opposite of you being an individual, right? A person that wants to control someone else, that means they're outside of themselves and they're being operated by a false version of themselves. Okay, so because sound doesn't ask the conscious mind for permission, it goes straight to the subconscious mind. So this is why they wage war against us using music. You know, we feeling the beat, but the frequency of that beat is an attack on your frequency. Whole time you just jiving and doing whatever you doing, right? But they use a certain frequency. I think it's 440 hertz now in all music, right? They're using that to lower your frequency and to bypass your critical thinking and not ask your conscious mind for permission and go straight to your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind is the creator of your reality. Okay, your subconscious mind is the driver here, not your conscious mind, not what you physically see with your eyes. Is what you don't see. Okay, now once you understand this, collective, you begin to see your life through a completely different lens. You realize that the noises you've been sensitive to were not just a coincidence. Okay, it means further investigation. Further investigation. Question everything. They were signals. Okay, they were energetic attempts to disrupt your inner stability. Okay, or in my experience, like I said, I use it as pretty much like alerts to make me further investigate. If I hear a certain sound, I now correlate that with further investigation. Okay, or certain truths, or I don't know, like that. You have to take it, you have to, how can I put this, spirit? Like, apply it to your experience in a way that it works for your experience. Okay, because we might not be experiencing the same things, but the frequency the same. All right, now they were frequency interruptions to pull you out of your center. Okay, so the reason you felt them so intensely is because, for one, if you're a woman, or you're a male, you're connected to your divine feminine energy, or if you integrated that natural divine feminine energy. Okay, so, and you're spiritually awake, you're spiritually intuitive, and you're spiritually connected. You're not just hearing sounds. Okay, you're feeling vibrations, you're reading energy, you're decoding energy. Okay, and this is where your power returns when you step into your dark divine feminine energy. Okay, noise can no longer control you. You become the one who sets the frequency, not the one who reacts to it. Instead of being pulled into chaos, you start to recognize that you can command your inner vibration at will. You can tune yourself like an instrument. You can choose silence. Okay, you can choose grounding. You can choose peace. Okay, it's something when you choose peace, like I said, they will perceive that as war. You know, your opposition, they'll perceive your peace as war. That's a day problem, though. That's a day problem. You can choose to raise your frequency so high that the external interferences can't touch you. They can't fuck with you, collective. Okay? You say, crazy, this guy at work slam shit every time I walk by, and only you. Been making myself relax lately. Yes, it's intentional, and it's your aura, it's your essence. It's threatening to people who don't have no aura. I hear my kids say all the time, I just took your aura. Like, you know, they be wanting to take your aura. That's what my boys say. So I be asking, like, what do y'all even mean by that? Like, they just put you to your knees. Like, that's what you do to people who don't have no aura. You make them feel like shit. And just by being you and just by existing, because they feel like they can obtain that same inner power. Okay, and they can. They just choose not to. And that ain't your problem. So they want to slam shit, or, you know, what spirit is showing me right now, you might even be in situations where people purposely try to ignore you. Like, they'll talk to everybody else in the room, they'll acknowledge everybody else's presence in the room, but they won't acknowledge yours. Right? That's waging war on your aura, because they want to humble you. Okay, they want to humble you. It's cool, you ain't got to speak to me, I don't want to speak to you no way. Karmic, you know, agent, I don't want to speak to you no fucking way. We got 11:11. It's 11:12 now. Look, they do all type of stuff, and then you call them out on their bullshit. Oh, what you talking about? No, I ain't mean nothing by that. Yes, you did, because your energy told me you did. You did, and I felt it. And they want you to feel it, but those are those subtle tactics that they play. You know what I mean? It's not easily detectable. It's like covert narcissism, gaslighting at its finest. Exactly. All right. So where we leave off at, y'all, when you step into your dark feminine energy, noise can no longer control you. You become the one that sets the frequency, not the one who reacts to it. Instead of being pulled into the chaos, you observe it, you recognize it, and you move around. Okay, you start to recognize that you can command your inner vibration at will. Okay, you can tune yourself like an instrument. You can choose silence, you can choose grounding, you can choose to raise your frequency so high that the external interference can't touch you. When you understand the game, because this is a frequency war game, right? You stop being a pawn, and then you start seeing that really they're the pawns. You the queen on the chessboard. They playing checkers, you playing chess. They don't even compare. And it's like you're not even trying to compete. You're just existing. But they playing a game. Thank you for the gifts. Thank you. I appreciate you. So sonic warfare loses all of its power the moment we realize that our inner vibration is stronger than anything around you. Okay? And once your divine feminine Once, as a divine feminine woman remembers her frequency, nothing or no one can break it. Okay? Divine masculine as well. Not just the divine feminine. I'm speaking to all divine beings who have integrated those your masculine and feminine. Okay? This is not for the ego. I always tell them that this is chess, not checkers. It is. And then once you realize their games and their tactics, it's like it gets boring. It gets, okay, like that's it. Like, I see what you're doing. It don't affect me because I know that I'm the creator of my reality. I know that, I'll go deep into my subconscious mind on a daily. I'm always questioning everything in my reality on a daily, okay? Because this is a lifestyle. This is a lifestyle. This is not a one and done. Okay, so if you get to a point where you feel like, okay, I've healed, and okay, you can be healed, but you're still evolving. Okay, so you don't want to fall victim to being a targeted individual, or feeling like you're a victim of gang stalking. That's low level shit. Okay, when I say low level, I mean like the tactics. Okay, once you're aware of the tactics, they can't affect you like they would have when you were in a victim mindset. Like, it's always happening every day. They always around me. They always doing this. You get to a point where you're so secure and you're so grounded and you feel so protected that what they do can no longer affect you. No matter what happens in your 3D experience, especially if you know you didn't create that for you, you knowing that you divinely guided and protected, that is everything is going to always work out in your favor. And that's the mindset that you have to have, because those interferences are tactics to get you unstable and ungrounded, right? It's to get you back in that fear mentality and that victim mentality, because then when you are rooted in fear, your perception, you're creating fear perceptions and illusions, right? So this is why they attack your subconscious mind and your 3D experience, because they want to tether you to the fear frequency. This is a shadow government that operates off of the fear frequency. It does not have access to love, to peace, to joy. It can mimic it. It's like a deceptive intelligence, but even in that deceptive intelligence, it has to get its ideas from the truth. Okay? It has to get the idea to be deceptive from the true frequency. You get what I'm saying? It's like they can't even be deceptive without exploiting the truth. So the fact of the matter is, you have to recognize when you're trying, when this force is trying to pull you back into that fear frequency. Okay, love over fear. Soon as I get up, like soon as I get up, like what I got to deal with today, it doesn't matter. I'm ready. And look, I don't even expect it. We don't even want to put that in our minds that what I got to deal with today. Nope, I ain't got to deal with nothing. Actually, they let them go and go out their way to try to pull you down and lower your frequency. It just reveals, the pattern, because we see the patterns. So if you want to take your chance and expose your patterns, I'm just studying your patterns. So do what you got to do. All they do is teach us how to maneuver in the matrix, because we are master decoders and we master patterns. And this is how I know that anybody that resonate with me, we are all here to integrate the grid of the divine, okay? And integrate the true patterns here, if that makes sense, okay? We are master builders. So if you want to continue to show your hand and show your pattern and what you're trying to do, go right ahead. Go right ahead. But the war is on your frequency, and it can use anybody that's an open portal for it to use. Okay, because it's a force, it's a spirit, if you want to call it a spirit, you know, it's a it's a what do I want to say? Like, it's a shadow government. Shit. It just is what it is, you know? And the war is those, and okay, I'm gonna say this too. A lot of times with gang stalking, I know gang stalking and sonic warfare is a frequency. The root frequency that it's branched off from is fear. Okay, this is a system that fears individuality. This is a system that fears your power and your essence of divine truth, right? It fears that. So the people that have access to you can be used to perform these tactics. Okay? They can be, whether they know it or not, right? They can be used. So we've been on here an hour, y'all. Do anybody have any questions? Because I don't want to just be talking, and I want to know. My ear is ringing here. Okay, my ear is ringing, and you know, some people might say, "Oh, that's a frequency, maybe 5D warfare going on right now." My ear is picking up on that frequency change, right? But sometimes I can perceive that as my ancestors are here. It's a message coming through, right? Because we are energy beings, so it don't necessarily have to be perceived as a negative thing all the time, if that makes sense. It does not have to be perceived as a negative thing all the time. But yes, the people closest to you can be used. Okay. And I'm going to say this too about children, because children are so pure, so innocent, and they like are naturally open. I guess it's like they can be, how do I want to put this? Because they can be used in a way too, unknowingly, unconsciously. So what okay, so say somebody asks me, okay, what do I do in my house with my kids, right? Let's just say here, let me take this off the screen here now, y'all, because that was pretty much it for that reading there. Okay. You can protect your children's aura field as well. Okay, you can give them spiritual baths. You can play high frequency tunes in your house. Kids love it. My kids love it all the time. They love it. You know, allow them a space to where they can question things and feel safe, feel peaceful, you know, things of that nature. You know what I mean? It's things that you can do to protect your children too, even if they try to wage war on our children. Okay, so making them aware, making them conscious at their level of understanding. Okay, but they always throwing things at the subconscious mind of the children as well. You see it in the things that they watch, or you know, they do subliminal things in the things that they watch. You know, you say something keeps telling me to leave my second job, but I can't because I need the money. That's interesting. You know, what I've learned, y'all, too, is that you can't be connected to the matrix and be awakened. Like, you gonna find yourself leaving jobs. If you don't leave, the universe will force you to leave. Okay, something may happen, something may come up, and you have to detach. Okay, so if you feel like it's something that you need to do, then maybe you should follow your intuition. Yeah, people who don't like me, their children be running to me trying to get me to hold them. And see, that speaks volumes, okay? That speaks volumes. A lot of people are very diabolical to their own children. And you know, children pick up on energy. They know what energy feels safe, you know? I studied that with my own kids, so I know how they respond to sound. I know how they respond to your energy. My baby, for example, my baby wasn't even one yet, and it was this one particular person she would see and be around, bust out into tears, crying. My baby was a calm baby, didn't cry much. Nothing was wrong with her, perfectly fine and healthy. She crying when she see you, something wrong. Okay, because kids pick up on energy and vibes. But we be in a family dynamic that will alter how we read energy. We can feel somebody's energy is dangerous and or safe. Okay, but your family dynamic would have been so toxic and abusive, and the environment not be safe, that you have to rearrange your whole ability to read energy just so you can survive in that environment. Okay, so the objective is to create environments where your children feel safe. Okay, we was exploited out of that. We was abused out of that concept. Okay, so that's the goal. We need to be able to create safe environments, and the only way you can create a safe environment is if you heal. You have to heal. And I know y'all probably hear that a lot, but you're going to hear it even more from me. Get my ebook on healing trauma. Okay, link in bio. Link in bio. I teach you a comprehensive and understandable approach where anybody can grasp the concept of healing and how it affects your 7 spiritual bodies, because all of that has to be integrated and take place. Okay, it's not just about healing a little bit here and I'm done. No, you have to heal on every multidimensional plane if you want to be able to step out of the victim mentality and limited belief system that you have been programmed to believe. So I teach you how to actively reparent yourself and reprogram your subconscious mind. Okay, that's important because they have been feeding and programming your subconscious mind since you were born. Since you were born. And if we was born into these systems that are corrupt, they weren't teaching you how to be free. They was teaching you how to be a compliant slave. So I teach you how to take your power back. And I teach you how not to identify with your circumstance. We all got a story to tell, collective. Don't be ashamed. Don't let nobody guilt you or shame you back into an old timeline that don't serve you. Okay, we all got a story to tell. Ain't nobody lived just this perfect ass life, because most of our family was toxic. Most of our family is extremely indoctrinated and religious. Most of our family don't want to take accountability and don't want the truth. So we got a lot of things that we can say we experienced. Okay, so this is why I do what I do. I want to encourage you to keep moving on your journey. Keep choosing you. Okay? Don't identify with your circumstance. It does not make you who you are. Your frequency makes you who you are. Your vibration makes you who you are. Your morals and your intention makes you who you are. Okay? So grab that ebook if you haven't already. It say, never feel sorry for me because I choose this path and it helped me found the real me. Exactly. You say peace, highlight, lovely lady Isis. Hey, Miss Val. Peace, love, and light to you too as well. You say, yeah, and they will call you crazy, and they will take any attempt that they can to try to humble you and try to remind you of your past, quote unquote, as if they don't have a past. Okay, that's projection warfare. They're just projecting. Okay, you don't need nobody to remind you of your past and what you experienced. You know exactly what you've gone through. You know exactly what you experienced. Okay. And I don't like to think that you were never a narcissist. The empaths you weren't a narcissist, okay? You just attracted narcissists. You attracted people who wanted to exploit you, dominate you, and control you because you are an earth angel. Period, point blank. They fear your power. So they attack your power. That's what it's always been about, even your family. Okay, you want to learn about gang stalking? Study your family dynamic. Those were your first bullies and gang stalkers right there. They were the first people to perform humiliation and devaluation rituals against you as a child. Go back and reflect on your family dynamic. It'll give you all of the answers that you need. And then what you will find is that that same tactic that your toxic family dynamic was using to control you is the same tactics that this shadow government uses as well. Same thing. Say baby daddies, baby mamas, significant others, workplace environment, school systems, any type of dynamic, okay? It has the same tactics. Same thing. You say some of them look at me with disgust and they think I don't see it. And they will. Some of them will look at some of them you can feel the disgust and they got a smile on their face. Smiling from ear to ear, but something ain't right, something off, your energy. You say facts. You say family do you worse than strangers. I learned that at a very early age. Family will do you in. I said that as a child or as a young adult. I remember saying that to myself, like, my family, they were my worst enemies. I learned from my family. Whether they realize it or not, it just is what it is. And we call it what it is, right? We don't sugarcoat the truth. The truth is, the family dynamics that most of us evolved from did not teach us sovereignty, did not teach us how to, respect each other's feelings and emotions, how to honor each other, how to be, I was always loyal to the wrong motherfuckers, but they didn't necessarily teach us those things. They taught from a place of exploitation. Thank you for the gifts. They taught from a place of how can I weaponize your empathy against you? They taught from places that was not safe. Okay, that's just what it is, and that's how they created that the people pleasing energy within you, because it's like you have a desire to want to connect. You have a desire to want to be seen, want to be loved, appreciated. Okay, as empaths, that's in your core values, right? That's who you are at the core. And these family dynamics exploited that concept. They exploited that. Oh, you want to be loved? Well, you got to do this to get love. Very transactional, very conditional. You want to be loved? You got to look a certain way. You got to have a certain amount of money. You got to carry yourself a certain way. You got to do what we did for generations, or we're not going to accept you. You got to believe what we believe, or you the devil. My grandma literally told me that I'm her enemy. I'm the devil because I believe something different from her. I don't have no ill intent towards her. I'm just giving y'all an example, because it's about the mind, right? Their mind is parasitic and they don't realize it. Okay. Their minds are not as sharp as they think. So if you can say to a person that you're my enemy because you don't believe what I believe, then what tactic is that? That's a tactic to try to humble you and control the way you think. And they do this unconsciously because they have adopted a belief system and an indoctrination that does not allow them to think beyond the ceiling. Okay? They don't want to think outside of the box. You have to seek my permission. Exactly. My mother, she told me one day that she wanted to pick my next relationship, the person that I marry or whatever. And I know in some traditions they do that, but who told you that it was your responsibility to choose who I love or be in a relationship with? Why do you feel the need to want to control that aspect of my life, my love life? Why? Okay, it's one thing to give sound advice and say, hey, I think that, maybe you need to focus more on yourself and your own personal growth so that you can attract better lovers and better friends or whatever the case may be. But that wasn't the vibes. That was not the advice. The advice was, I want to control you. Okay? And then we have to talk about the layer of codependency as well. Okay? Because our toxic family dynamics teaches us how to be codependent. It teaches us that, we have to fight for love, endure abuse, and always seeking outside validation. And then we find ourselves in this codependent energy where we don't know how to evolve from having the need to be around other people all the time, and don't know how to be and sit in our own energy. So that's another aspect to me of people pleasing, codependency, being fearful of being in your own space and your own energy. So we have to override that programming. It's okay to be single or be not only want to say alone, because you're never really lonely, but it's like it's okay to sit with self in silence. It's okay to go about the world with just you. Okay, because you need to have moments where you can think to yourself, where you can get to know what you like, what you don't like, your own energy, right? So we need those moments where we are not dependent. Okay, so if we think systematically, because remember I say your family dynamic mirrors this system that is corrupt. Okay, it mirrors it. So systematically, we become codependent collectively on the government system. Whole time, they using our collective energy to keep the illusions in this government system in control. Government literally translates to mind control. What more do we need? That alone should have you questioning every system and every dynamic. Why do we need a system to control our mind? In what way are you controlling my mind? Now I got to ask more questions, because now my questions got questions. What are you doing to control my mind? Oh, hell no. What type of counterintelligence are you using against my mind? What type of military warfare are they raging against our mind, collective? It's about your mind. Okay? It's about your mind, your frequency, your subconscious. I'm for real, because now my questions got questions. I feel like what's her name? The grandma that be going viral on TikTok. She got a question to every question. You will never see. That's how you gotta be. That's how you out manipulate the manipulator systems and dynamics. Question everything. Your questions should have questions. Okay? You won't get me. That's how you irritate a manipulator. That's how you irritate a narcissist. You want to piss a narcissist off? Ask questions. And don't stop. I bet you they give up. Because narcissists think that that nobody can outthink them. They think they got all the smarts. You gonna get irritated trying to manipulate me and trying to control me. You finna crash out. Not me. Oh yeah, I'm finna make you spiral. Because I peep game. And once you peep game, you what they say, fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, I can't put the blame on you. So once you peep game, you know how to maneuver. Hey, Ebony. She said, why you asking all them questions? Never mind exactly. Asking all them questions. Why you asking all them questions? They gonna get pissed off. I'm telling y'all, question everything. Okay. What else? Let me see what y'all. Okay, you say you have finished. Okay, y'all ain't left no comments over there. Any more comments and questions? I feel like we covered a lot here. I feel like we covered a lot. Look, we got 144 likes at the top. I say 9. 9. I feel like we just made a full circle here. Yeah, we were talking about sonic warfare and gang stalking and the different layers. Okay, because ultimately it's about your frequency, it's about your energy, your vibration. That is the war. That is the spiritual war. Okay. So if you question everything that you're experiencing, then you should be able to get down to the root. Okay. You should be able to get down to a person's intentions by questioning things. Okay. Do I have a YouTube? Yes, I'm live on YouTube right now. Same name, Spiritual Detective on YouTube. You say my profile picture is not showing I'm a he. Oh, you a he? Oh, I'm sorry. I probably thought you was a female. Okay. It's all right. I remember that from now on. Cause I didn't look at your profile. I just assumed that you were a female. My bad. If I called you a she. Yes. You say, why do you think the elite seem obsessed with immorality? They know so much hidden knowledge. Why fear death? Okay, that's a good question. And I think it's mainly because they don't have access to source, like true creation. Okay, they only are using recycled energy. Okay, so if the elites are obsessed with it, that's because they can't go beyond this realm. So if we're raising the frequency, what we're doing is burning out the parasites. Okay, like you would do a body with the virus. They're a virus. So if we raising our frequency, we are, it's heat. That's how I look at it. It's heat. You say they are Luciferians, you know, even that has a esoteric root to it. Luciferianism. All of these dark occultists get their concepts from the ancients. The ancients, okay? They just inverted it and distorted it. You know, and I feel like that's where a lot of confusion come in. They want us to be confused with that, right? They want us to feel like everything is demonic and everything. No, they are the demons. Okay, I don't even want to call them the demons because really that's daemons, which is really ancient gods, right? Ancient gods, goddess. That I don't even like to give them that. Parasites is the correct name for this force. They are parasites and viruses. Okay. Okay. And they're parasites that want to enter into your mind, which is that of a computer. If you think about how a computer operates, think about it, correlate that with the mind. If a virus get into a computer, what happens? Same thing with the body. Okay. So we don't even want to give them that much. Right. Vampires. Call them what they is. You say it's our knowledge and they use it against us. Exactly. Exactly. We us our 9 ether beings, we are from the primordial chaotic or chaos energy. Okay, that's darkness. So of course they want you to believe that everything of dark is demonic and evil and wicked. No, that's a misconception. That's a lie. Okay, they're the ones who are evil. Okay, they're the complete opposite of living. So if you spell live backwards, you get evil. They are evil. They exploit natural law and order in every way, shape, and form that you can think about. Every way. That's the only power, quote unquote, that they have, is to manipulate natural law and order. You saying they want our Akashic records. And I feel like even that is limited. They only can use what they have found. You know what I mean? It's like the Akashic records is that of the primordial knowledge and awareness. You know what I mean? In your subconscious mind. All of that connects, if that makes sense. I hope this making sense to somebody. I don't want to complicate you or complicate your mind or confuse you, because it's very simple. It's these so-called elites, which are not very elite. Okay? They're these parasites who make things very complicated. It's not complicated. I promise you. And I've done a lot of reading. I've done a lot of research. We were the original occultists. Occultism is just hidden knowledge. They didn't have access to it, so they manipulate it. Because why? That's all the power they have, is to manipulate some shit. Say, I understand what you're saying. Say, we'll get more of that infrequent. But they all got us dumbed down. Yeah, they definitely do got most of the collective dumbed down. Yes. You say, I told them I have 72 demons and 72 angelic spirits, so it's up to them how we tap in. Exactly. And they want you to fear. They demonize your shadows. Your shadows are those ancient deities, or those, what's the word? That's the shadow. That shadow aspect of yourself is what they want you to feel like is demons attacking you, or it's demonic. If that makes sense. So they want you to fear that aspect of yourself. And they want to civilize you, right? They want to civilize you according to their laws, their corrupt laws. Thank you, sir. You say you enjoyed it. You say, so when big game with them, trickology. Yeah. Yes. Okay, so wait, I was losing my train of thought. Hold on, y'all. What was I about to say? I forgot now. Because I feel myself calming down again. I feel myself calming down. But yeah, it's definitely that. I see you, Buff. Yes, y'all. So I guess I'll just get ready to get off here. I think we did enough talking. It's been an hour and a half. I think we have covered a lot. Like I said, shout out to my YouTube family, the ones that stuck around for this live. You say, meaning you're using your knowledge to trick us into, right, trickology, right, trick us and making us fair. Oh, that's what I was saying. They like Buff is saying in the comments here, says that they use our knowledge to trick us into thinking and making us fair, which is also in alignment with what I was saying about like them trying to make us civilized according to their laws, which is corrupt. Right? We're civilized when we're not being controlled. That's civilized. Our ancient ancestors they didn't operate from control, they operate from love. Not fear of your power. They taught us how to wield that power. You get what I'm saying? How to utilize and integrate that power. How to weave. Okay? But they fear that. So they want to make us civilized and follow their false laws and criminalize us. That's what they really want. You say, thank you for taking the time to share this. This was good. Thank you for joining, Isis. You say, look, you're right. You say, I don't want you to go yet. I love this. Look, because y'all know I'll be on here for hours. Y'all ain't finna have me on here for no hours today. I got to clean my kitchen. I got to cook some dinner. I got things to do. Okay. You say love. Right. That's right. It was all about love, not control. Not control. So that's another way to um help you navigate through these haystack of lies to get to that needle of truth, right? When you focus on love, let love guide you and not fear. Spirit is love. The great mother is love. Okay? So you will be guided to the information that you need. You will receive the downloads. It's already in your subconscious. It's already in your Akashic records. You have access to it as long as you got a soul. Okay? Now, you will find is that it's just things have been made complicated on purpose to keep you confused, because this is a force of deception. A force of deception. Okay? But what you do know is what you can take with you, if you'll take nothing else from this live, is they have to give truth in order to tell a lie. They got to give a little truth in order to tell a lie. So you instantly follow when you came across me. Ashe. Ashe, because I feel like, I don't know. I follow a lot of people too. I guess I not a lot of people I resonate with a whole lot. That was another reason why I started to speak up online, because it's not a lot of people that I feel like I resonate. I feel like I resonate with a lot of the older teachers. So that's how I definitely know I'm an old soul. Okay, but I resonate with a lot of the older teachers. Say I can relate to you. Yes, look, I appreciate it. You resonate with me, I resonate with you. Okay, but yeah, like as far as occult knowledge and things like that, just know that they got the concept from your ancient ancestors, the dark occultists. Anyway, okay, the dark occultists. They got it from you, and it's already within you. You just have to question things. You have to have the desire to want to know. It's all about your intentions and your desire. But I also know that the spirits, even though they feel like they have a lot of our knowledge, they still don't have all of it. Okay, because the spirits, you still have to be initiated with this type of wisdom. Even with them having access to knowledge, they lack the wisdom. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, and being spiritually initiated places you on higher frequencies, and that's the disconnect. That's the gap between them using dark occultism and trying to siphon energy from the collective and keep these illusions going. It doesn't really compare. Does that make sense to somebody? It's like, you can have the knowledge. That doesn't mean that you outside of divine justice and judgment. You get what I'm saying? You still gonna have to deal with all of the shit that you're doing to what's the word, to pervert, because they're perverting sacred knowledge. They're perverting sacred knowledge. So if you're perverting sacred knowledge, you're still gonna be dealt with. And this is what they're afraid of. This is what somebody asked a question like, why they afraid of dying? Because it's like they already lost, really. They're just delusional and thinking that they, still in this war or this fight. Really, they already lost. You lost the moment we started waking up again. You lost the moment that people started to realize that they are gods and children of the Most High. They lost. They've been lost. So it's like, you have to, I think certain information will come to you when in divine timing. Okay, because a lot of the information is still very sacred. Some things are not necessarily in a book. That's where the downloads come in at. But you got to be on a certain frequency to receive those downloads and upgrades. That's what I mean. They're not even vibrating on a high frequency to receive those downloads and upgrades. So even the information that they have is a very basic version, if that makes sense. Okay. You say they lost it before it started. Exactly. Exactly. Another new subscriber. Thank you. You say, here, thank you. Yes, thank you joining the family. YouTube family over there. Yes, y'all. Let me see. Oh, you know what? Let me look up something real quick. I guess I can talk about one more thing. And I need to take a potty break. Because it's like it's so much going on right now with Planet Gaia or Tiamat. It's so much going on. Dang, where is that thread? Let me see. Say they understand karma but still do evil to the man. So you know what? They feel like they are outside of karma. They feel like they are outside, they're exempt. Because they feel like if they put it in your face and use symbolisms that you don't understand, then they're telling you. And the fact that we do nothing about it makes them feel like we're okay with it. This is why we speak up. This is why we speak our truth. This is why we resist against oppression. This is why. Because they do give us the signs and symbols right in your face. And because most people are not in tune with the symbolisms, it goes right over their critical thinking. It bypasses that thought right away. Hold on, y'all. I'm looking for something real quick. Say they think that if they tell us, they will escape karma. I'm looking for exactly. That's what it is. And that's what I'm saying. This is why we speak truth, and this is why we align with the frequency of truth, so that's creating a ripple in energetically and resistance against these lies and what they're doing. Okay. It's about your mind. Frequency manipulation. And you know what we're doing too is, okay, this shadow government is really the shadows of, hey Sherry, how you doing? I'm good. The shadow government is really the shadow of the collective unconscious. So this is why we got to heal too. This is why we got to always remind each other, heal, encourage, or speak about it, or do what you can. Okay, because we came here on a mission. And that mission was to raise the frequency of Tiamat, or the planet Earth, Okay, that was the whole point here. Okay, I could believe it, Miss Black. I don't put none past these phones. Okay, so this is why we can't just sit back and let it happen and go on with the okie doke and be all in the matrix thinking that, oh, long as I blend in, I'm cool. You only gonna blend in until spirit force you to stand out. And you came here on a mission. You have to remember who you are. That's what this is about. You have to remember. Okay, so the collective unconscious is the shadow government. It's really unhealed trauma. That's what it is. It's the distorted masculine and feminine energy. Okay? So this is why we got to do what we do. And that distorted collective unconscious it fears the awakened feminine energy, or the feminine principle, the sovereign energy. It fears that. So it comes up with many concepts or many tactics to suppress the divine feminine. That's what it is. You say facts. I tapped in and remember my contract. Yeah, you got to remember your purpose here. You didn't come here to lollygag. You didn't. We came here on a mission. What is your mission? Okay. So when we see, when seeing the alchemy of awareness. First things first, what I was saying. Pure awareness that no longer reacts, only observes and commands energy. So your task is to embody divine neutrality. Okay? Nothing is outside of me. It is all consciousness reflecting itself. So when we think energetically and we think consciously, then we understand that our enemy is that of a collective unconscious energy. Collective unconscious shadow. Reclaim your shadows. That is how we help the collective. That is how we do that. And most of our purpose is pretty much just that. We might express it differently, right? We might we might express our creativity differently on how we show up for the world in the world, or how we express this knowledge and this wisdom, but nonetheless, it's to raise the frequency and vibration. So however you choose to do that. Exactly. And shit, if you feel like somebody is gang stalking you in a way where they're literally stalking you, you can either ignore it, sit in your silence and in your power. If they are a physical direct threat to you, then you handle that accordingly. If it's at a distance but you feel threatened, or they got a history of stalking you, get a personal protector order. Use the so-called law system for what you can use it for. But don't be totally dependent on it. But what I'm saying is, gang stalking can show up in so many different ways. It can show up aggressively and it can show up subtly. That's what I'm saying. It's psychological warfare. Is to get you off of it's to lower your frequency and your vibration. Right, you say, but all of them in the same frequency. Yeah, it's just expressing itself differently. Okay, that's basically it. Even with the the energetic parasites, they're just expressing that fear frequency in different ways. But it's the same thing. It's the same agenda. Same agenda. Different tactics, same agenda. Okay? Or some, I think that we just have different names for them, because some people even call what some may call gang stalkers, some may call them monitoring spirits. Okay? It's the same thing. The energy is the same. It just might be more subtle. I'm telling you. It's to bully you, it's to harass you, it's to stalk you. Now, when you think about any of those three words that I just said, what would be the purpose of somebody bullying you? Is it to help you raise your frequency? Is it to help you feel good about yourself? Is it to remind you of who you are, your purpose? No. It's to tear you down. It's to make you spiral downwardly, spiral out of control. It's to cause chaos and confusion in your life. Don't let nobody gaslight you to make you think otherwise when the energy is telling you what their intentions are. Question how you feel around certain people. I don't care what their title is. Your mama, daddy, cousin, brother, uncle, best friend, husband, wife. It don't matter. Titles mean nothing when it comes to your vibration and your frequency and your peace. You don't need to be in constant chaos and confusion around a motherfucker that's not even trying to make it peaceful for you. Like, you purposely being chaotic? I'm gonna need you to go immediately. Get the fuck on. Okay? And then, like, recently, I said like a couple of months ago, y'all, it was around the time where I wasn't really going out the house that much. And I'll tell you, that was a Spanish lady or a Mexican lady. She came to my house and unbeknownst to me, okay, just randomly came to my house, knocking on the door. What, did she knock on the door? I don't even think she knocked. I was just so happened in my kitchen and I seen her on the camera. And I'm like, what is this lady doing on the porch and taking pictures, right? And I'm like, okay, let me go outside. Next thing I know, she taking pictures of me. The lady couldn't even speak English to communicate with me. I'm thinking, oh shit, they on their shit. I got my pajamas and everything. I'm telling her, lady, what do you want? She speak no English, speak no English. Why are you here? You know? So then she wound up calling her boss, I guess. And the boss started talking to me on the speakerphone. And he said, yes, he said she's taking pictures of the house to prove that somebody stays here because the house was listed for rent. And I said, listed for rent where? What are you talking about? I've been here for several years. What do you mean? Bullshit, right? So I'm like, okay. So as I'm looking at her phone, I see pictures of me in her phone. Why do you need pictures of me? Oh, so I'm telling the lady, I said, delete me out your phone. I said, give me your phone. And I took the phone because at that point, I feel like you're a threat to me. You know, so I give me your phone and I'm deleting it out your phone. I started deleting it out of her phone because I feel like you're invading my space, right? But see, they'll do shit like that. You say a stalking energy vampire, exactly. And then I'm like, no, I told her to delete it, and she claimed that she did delete it, and but she was talking and her phone still was like moving. And I said, no, you didn't. You didn't delete me. Give me the phone, and I deleted the phone. Deleted the pictures, and it was just weird, but nothing is a coincidence, right? Nothing is a coincidence. I take that as hey, I see you in the chat. I'm gonna read it in 1 second. Let me tell this part. So basically that was a tactic. That was a stalking tactic. Exactly. That was a tactic to harass me. My house was not listed for rent. It was not. That was a bold-faced lie. It was not. I asked her to show me on a website. She didn't even show me on the website. Her boss couldn't show me either. He couldn't tell me what website to go see if it was listed. It's not. I went and checked myself. It was not. So they wanted to send somebody to me to disrupt my frequency of this region over here. Okay, because your aura spreads quite wide, in case you didn't know. Okay, and I believe that's why the universe have us placed, or spirit has us placed around the globe the way that we are. Okay, in different regions and different areas. But nonetheless, she wound up leaving, and I'm thinking like, if you in the moment, it was kind of chaotic too. So I started to kind of like evaluate our interaction, and it was just like that was some bullshit, you know. And I'm thinking, if you wanted to prove that somebody was here, all you had to do, if you, I don't know, I was about to say she could have took a picture of my dogs. My dog was in the yard, but no, I don't want you taking pictures at all. I don't want you taking pictures at all. She took pictures of my front door. Why do you need to take pictures of my front door? Why do you? I feel like y'all want to know where I live at or something. It was not about the house for rent. It was about me and my frequency. That's what it was about. Okay, you say again, energy vampire trying to get some. Apparently so. Apparently so. So, hey Sherry. Hey, Bob. You said, I noticed this a lot when driving for work. People are unnecessarily aggressive, and it's so predictable. Right? Bullying, bumper riding, honking. You are absolutely right. Tall giraffe lady. That name. You are absolutely right. It's like this bully energy when you driving. I feel the same thing. Mm-hmm. And they call it road rage, right? Nah, they trying to bully you. That's another tactic to disrupt your energy, right? You say blockchain makes money off your biofield, aka biosignal. Oh, that's interesting right there. They say blockchain makes money off your biofield. Then it makes a lot of sense as to why they do what they do. And it's not coincidental. That's my whole point. So, like, even if you don't leave your house that often, you'll find that they find a way to come to you. And spirit want me to talk about this other interaction I had. I was on a porch with me, two of my sons. It was me, two of my sons, maybe my daughter at the time. But we was just chilling, right? Next thing I know, there's a white lady in this little car. It was kind of raggedy. It's a little raggedy little car. And it was a white lady. She started to approach me on my porch. So I'm looking at her like this, because as she approaching the whole time, I'm looking at her like that. Like, what do you want? Because you're coming in my way, and I don't really like your feeling. I'm getting a vibe from her as she walking to me. So she comes up to me, and she kind of fidgety or whatever. And she was like, I grew up in this house and blah, blah, blah. And I'm still looking at her like this, because it's like, get to the point. What do you want? So she like, I'm running for city council or something like that. And I'm like, okay, I don't vote. I'm thinking this to myself, but I ain't saying no words. I'm just letting her talk. I don't do a bunch of talking when it comes to these agents. Okay. That's a skill that you have to learn. Don't talk much. Let them talk. Okay. Because they want your energy in any way that they can. Some type of response. Right. So she started talking, and she was like, yeah, I want to like record people, basically do like an interview with you. And I'm like, lady, I don't even know who you are. I've never even heard of you. I don't care if you used to stay in this house either. I don't even remember your name, and you standing right here, you just told me, right? But I'm thinking, okay, keep talking. So then she started talking about the lady next door. And I'm like, now that lady next door to me had just moved in that house. Just moved in that house, right? Not even a whole 2 weeks, probably. Okay. She wasn't home, I don't think, because I didn't see the truck there that she normally would drive. So I was telling the lady, I guess she wanted to go to the neighbor. And I'm like, well, I don't think she's there. And she finally, we stopped talking or whatever. And I guess I didn't give her the vibe that I wanted to be recorded, because I didn't. I know what type of time you want. I know what you're doing. Right. So she wound up leaving from in front of my house, or by my porch area. And she kind of went and was getting ready to walk toward her car. And then all of a sudden, the neighbor started to pull up in her driveway. a black lady, right? The lady that was talking to me was a white lady. And when a black lady got out her car or her little truck, she immediately, it's like when she got on her truck, I kind of waved at her a little bit because we was on waving turns. I don't really know her like that, but I don't wave to her at all after this. She got on her truck. She went up to the white lady as if they knew each other, y'all. I kid you not. The energy was given. They knew each other. So she turned her back to me. The black lady turned her back to me and embraced this white lady. About 2 to 3 seconds later, she went and took that white lady in her house. Now, y'all tell me if that was a coincidence. She knew that lady. Okay? Can't nobody tell me different. Because ain't no, I'm sorry to say, but black people, we ain't quick to let nobody in our house. First of all, I know I ain't. And white at that. I ain't trying to be funny, but it is what it is. I ain't quick to let you in my house. I don't care where you think you knew me from or none of that. Or where you used to live. I don't care about none of that. But she took that lady in her house and they were in there for quite some time. She went and got her little recorder stuff and she recorded her. I guess. I don't know. But it was just the vibe that I had got from her and both of them together. It was given that same type of energy. So I feel like in that moment, I was picking up on the different ways that energy will show up, that stalking like energy, right? And they be on the same frequency, some way, somehow. They minds be connected, okay? And I don't know. I don't trust my neighbors at this point. I really don't. You say, why they just kicked me out your life? Oh, they kicked you out? Oh my goodness. Dang. Yeah, they don't be wanting nobody to talk about the truth. I'm convinced. Okay. But yeah. So you will have instances like that where it's like, this is not coincidence. There's some shit that was orchestrated and planned, because that's the energy and the vibes that it give. Right? And you really can't. You can't trust nobody. I see somebody say you can't trust nobody. You really can't. But you also gotta not move in fear either. So you don't want to sit in that energy of you don't want to move around like I can't trust anybody, because it almost gives fear. You know what I mean? So you don't want to be in fear, but you don't want to be open to everybody either. Right? You don't want to give people the inkling that they can play with you, or they can just come in and you don't have no type of protection, no type of boundaries. You don't have your guards up, none of that. You know what I mean? Say I got a question. What's the picture with the swirl? It's energy. Very interesting. Oh, yeah. This right here. I drew this painting. Every now and then somebody will ask about this painting right here, y'all. But I drew this because it was something I was seeing in my mind's eye view. And basically what this represents, this swirl, is awakening, right? Because it happens in spirals. Okay? Your awakening happens in spirals. So it represents the Kundalini rising and, bringing your masculine and feminine energy into balance, because that's what it takes in order for you to raise your frequency and activate that Kundalini fire. Okay, and this represents right here the 7 colors right here, and that represents the chakras. Okay, that's basically what this picture means. So you got the root, the sacral, the solar plexus, your heart chakra, your throat, your third eye, and your crown. Right. So that's what this represents. Yep. Just a reminder. And everything is swirls. When you for 9 ether beings, especially, we have swirls, and our coils are swirled. And nature swirls are everywhere. And the universe is swirls. Your chakras themselves are vortexes. They are swirls. Okay. Swirls. That's the creators. Okay. That's the creator blueprint. That's what I like to call it. That blueprint. Okay. It's all in sacred geometry. Okay. Your fingerprint. Yep. It's everywhere. Even the concept of like a pregnant woman. I'm seeing like a pregnant woman, her belly, that's like a 9 swirl. It's our human body itself. Okay, let me look at the comments on YouTube, y'all. Hold on. You say they got you fired at your job. You only 20. Say I'm in fear. People keep following me. I keep getting harassed. You got to raise your frequency. That's what we've been talking about this whole live. Make sure you go back and watch this live from the beginning so you can get an understanding of how to raise your frequency and what you need to be doing from the inside, from within, right? Because they want you to feel like you are not safe. They want to keep you ungrounded, okay? The trees all represent us. Exactly. We are nature beings. Exactly. Okay, let me see what else is here. You say Sherry says she knew that lady, right? And they was trying to set you up. That's exactly what I got from that, Sherry. And that's why I don't speak to them anymore. I have so many stories about my neighbors, y'all. So many that I could tell y'all. This house straight directly across from me, it seemed to attract the craziest neighbors. I feel like they in some type of secret society around here. Something going on. Okay, but it the weirdest people move in that house. No lie. You say they bully you. Right, and that be the thing. You don't bother anyone. You don't do anything. No. It be like that. You don't have to do anything. Just you being in your power and being right. And see, be okay, let me finish my thought. Just you being in your power, it threatens them in their entire existence. So they fear you. Okay, so they attack you. And they do that to humble you and to lower your frequency. Please grasp that concept, y'all. Grasp that concept. Especially to you over here on YouTube who having struggles with feeling like you being stalked, okay? You have to know that they want you to feel unsafe. They want you to feel that way because they can control you when you are in fight or flight. We know this from dealing with narcissists and being in narcissistic relationships or being in a narcissistic family dynamic. I want y'all to practice observing without excessively reacting. That is my acronym for power. Power. You want to stay in your power? I wish somebody can put that in the chat. Power. Practice observing without excessively reacting. It is about your reaction. They want a rise out of you. That is how you stay in your power. Don't give them the energy that they want. Now, if you know they're harassing you to get you to respond in a way that will throw off your nervous system or make you feel unsafe, then what you need to be doing is sitting silent in your power, unbothered. Ignore their ass. I have mastered how to ignore somebody. Before they get a rise and respond out of me, you will be a corpse. That's how serious you got to be about that shit. You will be a goddamn corpse before you get a rise out of me. Thank you for putting that in the chat, Isis. Or did I say that right? I'm sorry if I didn't. I said Isis, but is it CC? How do I pin that? Somebody put that on YouTube. Practice observing without excessively reacting. That is the acronym for power. Okay? You got to remember that. When you in fight or flight mode, when you feel triggered, okay? First off, if you feeling triggered, you may need to do some more healing, okay? You may need to integrate shadows, more shadows, okay? But nonetheless, even as a healed individual, you will still find yourself being triggered in one way or the other because you are here having a human experience, right? And you have emotions, right? So you need to remember to observe those emotions and not quickly react. Sit there. I am safe, right? This is where you start talking to yourself. I am safe. I am divinely guided and protected. Sit there. Okay? You start to remind yourself that you're here and now. Okay? Somebody said we need to put that on the shirt. We might have to put that on the shirt then. All right? But you ground yourself, and this is how you ground yourself, by staying present. By staying present. You say, yes, Spirit told me, observe, but don't merge or participate. Exactly. You don't identify with the fear. You observe the fear. I got to make this a little bit bigger because these words on this little bitty computer is so small. You say they touch me and put their hands in your... Somebody touching you and putting their hands in your face too? Press charges then. Teach their ass a lesson. Don't let nobody put their hands on you. That's crazy. You say, I don't speak to her, but her husband be checking me out. Don't speak to none of them. And yeah, and it'll be like that too. There was an instance where, I don't know what happened to this filter, but anyway, there was an instance where they'll notice things like that. There was a couple too that stayed is at a different location I was at. And I guess her husband was looking at me too, some kind of way. She made her way to my front door. She found a way to come to me, you know, but they do weird shit like that. You say reacting out of emotion, responding is emotional intelligence. And sometimes out of emotional intelligence, you don't have to respond at all. Sometimes you don't have to even respond at all, y'all. You say, okay, I'm 20. I was abused since I was a child, except sexually. Okay, mind over matter. And yes, gang stalking. The police are corrupt. Yeah. Yeah, insecure, right? Good vibes. It was definitely giving that because I'm like, this lady don't never talk to me, but I know she will see her husband looking at me because he will purposely drive past my house. And the way the houses was set up, it was like you really didn't have to drive past my house. You just wanted to drive past my house when you see me out there. And my abusive boyfriend at the time, he would see him staring at me. So I know it wasn't just me seeing it, you know, and I wasn't doing all the most to get his attention. I didn't want his old ass, but it was just a point, you know, that, yeah, insecure. You say the court system and the police are involved in protecting the groups of people trying to unalive me through abuse. And, you know, they also protect these secret societies and these groups and, you know, cult-like groups as well. But we learning and growing. We learning and growing. But to the young lady, the 20-year-old in the chat over here, you really got to figure out a way to ground yourself, meditate, and go within yourself. I urge you to do that. And if anybody putting their hands on you, you need to use that corrupt system and press charges on them. Period. And I know it's corrupt, and I do get what you're saying. I do. You said it is only people, or could it be supernatural? It is, you talking about the individuals who are being possessed by this force of deception. It is I feel like it's layers to it. But what I would say is yes, it is supernatural too, because it is spiritual. But it's mainly because of their shadows that they have not healed from. That's what it really is too. I have polished my nails. Okay. Yeah, so if, like I said, maybe you should do some more studying or get out into nature, detach from what you're experiencing. And when I say observe, you have to literally question what you're experiencing in that moment. Okay, once you ground yourself, you have to question, okay, why am I feeling like this? Why do I feel like I'm being attacked? What can I do right now? What message do I need to decode here? Something like that. You get what I'm saying? Like, you got to figure it out. You got to figure it out, because they want you to feel like you're not safe and that nobody will believe you. They want you to feel like that. So once you evolve from the victim mentality, or feeling like you're the only targeted person in the world, that's because they will isolate you to make you feel like that, right? That is what this community is for. We're here to converse. We're here to share our experiences, and we're here to provide a safe space for those targeted individuals to feel like, they're not going crazy, and to provide some sense of safety. Okay. Sherry says these days you got to be self-righteous and just leave. She say just now learning about all of this over the past month. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense why you will be all over the place, and I understand. And like I say, if you need to watch this video over again, keep in mind that it's about your vibration. It's about your frequency. It's about your energy. Okay? Your energy is currency. See, we have been programmed in the matrix. The matrix programs you from birth to give your energy away, right? To be at sea for these illusions, to be the current sea. Okay? Literally like a sea. SEA. Okay? They want your sea flowing in these illusions. Okay? Every concept, from the jobs, from the school, from the religions, from the government, quote unquote, systems, and all of that. All of these systems are just mask for what they are really doing, which is siphoning your energy. You're not really making money. You're exchanging your energy. You're giving, it ain't even in an equal exchange. It's not equal. You're giving your energy away, and they feeding you the illusion that if you don't work and you don't make money, then your livelihood is going to go to shit. That's corrupt. That's corrupt. Y'all better watch that movie They Live. That's for you. My 20-year-old family member over there. Watch the movie They Live, okay? Maybe that'll give you a better insight and a bigger picture of what's happening here too. Okay, I think it's from 1980. Watch it though. Or the 90s. I don't know. But watch it. Then you'll start to see the game. Say that's true. Then that's true. Then they all old friends come back. Yep. The earth give us everything for free, but we gotta work for it. Yeah, it's such a good movie. Yep. Yep. Watch that movie They Live. Matter of fact, let me see if I could just put it in the chat for you so you don't forget. They Live. There you go. All right. So yeah, the earth gives us everything we need. And we got 1, 2, 3 on the clock. 12:34. What was I about to say about that? I forgot that fast. I forgot. Oh, these systems. Okay, right. Your energy exchange or your energy, they're depleting you of your energy. That's why you feel depleted. That's why you feel like the math ain't mathing. That's why you feel like you're not getting exactly what you're worth energetically. That's because you're not. From Louisiana. Yeah, that's because they're not giving you an equal giving. Okay, thank you, Spirit. The work system is a direct exploitation of the cosmic law of reciprocity. Reciprocity is about equal give and take. You pour into my cup, I pour into your cup, we pour into each other's cups. That's not what this system is doing. And they want you to be in fear that all of your needs won't be met if you do not work a 9 to 5. They want you to attach yourself to a mortgage, which is a death sentence. They want you to feel like you're free on a weekend, just like they would do in slavery. You work day and night, Monday through Friday, Monday through Saturday. You get one day off to praise a God that they told you can worship, and then back at it and repeat the cycle all over again. This is why we say some people are still very much so enslaved or in slavery. Slavery did not go away. It evolved. It evolved to these corrupt systems. What's that man named Lincoln with the top hat? They showing me him in my third side view. I can see his face in that hat. He did not free the slaves. Whoever it was that signed that treaty or whatever, that law, he ain't free nobody. Slavery became more systematic. Okay, so if that's the case, then what ways are we being psychologically enslaved? Why are we afraid to walk away from these systems of enslavement and oppression? Why do we feel like we have to submit to a system that wants to oppress you and exploit nature? Sell you what naturally grows from earth. So you will find yourself as you raise your frequency. You will find yourself disconnecting from the matrix. That is the destruction that happens when you raise your frequency. Those false timelines will collapse. Everything that you thought you knew about yourself will collapse. Why? Because it's attached to the false version of yourself that the matrix wanted you to believe that you are. They gave you an identity. They give you personality options. They want to influence you to fit into society's norm or what society deems successful. It's time that we collectively start to overwrite that programming. Okay? You must rewrite or override that illusionary programming that they wanted you to believe is all lies. I can't stress it enough. It's literally all lies, y'all. Everything they put on TV, lie. Everything they got on, most things on TikTok, unless you find somebody who woke like the tribe here we got going on. Other than that, they're agents too. They just being used to keep the illusions going, to influence your mind, to bypass your critical thinking, to lie to you. You got to follow your purpose. Absolutely. Love you too, Sherry. She said she got to get back to work. You so drained. Is that what they say? You say old friends started coming back. I pretended I didn't see or know them. Exactly, because you don't. They don't know this version of you. They don't know the version of you that's connected, that has evolved and healed. They know the matrix version of you, the version of you that that you watered down to fit into society's norm or be accepted in society, or the part of you that you created to fit in with society or survive your environments. That's all you be doing. We be being fake when we go to work. Most people be fake when they go to work. Most people be fake when they go to church. Most people be fake when they leave the house. You don't be your real self until you at home. Spirit is calling for us to be our real self everywhere that we go. Don't be afraid. Don't walk in fear. Speak your truth right there on the spot. You know, because these matrix agents be counting on us to be silent. They be counting on you to humble yourself and eat that humble pie. They be counting on you to do that. Not taking up space. Just to make their insecurities feel better and make them feel good about themselves. No. And bypass their disrespect, their settled disrespect tactics. No. You have to say, no, I don't accept your disrespect. I will not tolerate being disrespected, misused, abused, siphoned, none of that. You got to stand for something or fall for anything, collective. We got 9 in both chats. I say to the great mother, the creator of all things, all life. Okay, I'm gonna get up out of here. I'm going. I'm gonna go right now. Stand in your truth. Stand in your power. Don't let nobody play with you. Okay. It's not a coincidence. Okay. It's never a coincidence. People do what they do. They think about what they do and they know what they be doing. Okay. Don't give nobody the benefit of the doubt. We all think before we act. Some of these agents, they don't because they can be possessed and stuff. But that ain't your problem. That is not your problem, collective. All right? I say, I'm going to go for real. See y'all. See you later. Bye for now. I will be back. I may be back later. I don't know. But I got to go. Let me read this last comment on YouTube. What is it? Look, it's 2:22. I done been on live. I'm finna get up off here. It says, I will try to come back later to watch from the beginning. Okay, I try not to watch this around my family. It only makes them think I'm feeding into delusion. Okay, right. You know what I mean? That's your right. You don't have to let them know what you listening to or what you're reading, but definitely make it a priority. Okay, very, very valuable information. And I think it'll solve a lot of your problems. Okay, I can't heal you though. I can give you suggestions and I can give you the tools, but it's up to you to use them. Okay, I share YouTube family. I love y'all for real, and I'll see y'all later. Have a big, beautiful day on purpose with a purpose, y'all. Bye, TikTok. I ain't about to play with y'all.